coffee, my old friend. I've come to order you again. I hear the grinding of espresso beans. I need a double shot of pure caffeine. And the indie band on the speaker soothes my brain. So I'll remain within the sounds of Starbucks.
Hey guys, I thought I would sneak out to the Tarbis here that it's almost 1 in the morning, but wasn't sleepy, so I came in and the paint had hardened, so I did a little more masking, but found some things that had to be touched up with the paint, so I won't finish the masking till tomorrow, and then I will, of course, give it the shot of white primer and everything, and then after that I'm going to be using the airbrush. This is the last time I'll be using the rattle can, and it's just because I'm covering a large area and I want to use the same paint. But I don't want to lay it on real thick because that seems to be when those bubbles form. And I really don't want to have that happen again, have to strip it again. I will be using acrylic paints from the air compressor from henceforth. And if it wasn't for the fact that I've got some red paint that I have to cover, I would probably go ahead and just do that now. But that red will bleed through, possibly even primer and certainly through the white paint. So this... the stuff that I'm using is primer one. It does a good job of covering itself up, even the brighter color. So this will be the last time I use this thing, and then it's all airbrush from here. And I just thought I'd give you a little update. Came out to the Tarbis in the middle of the night, and it's kind of fun to come out. You know, the crickets are chirping and everything. It's nice. You can tell by the fleece. It's a nice crisp night down here in the Panhandle, in North Florida. And I just thought, you know, I took a second before I came in and looked at my little Tarbis here and said, you know, I'm really lucky to get to have this place, my little fortress of solitude. And just took a second to be thankful to the universe and the great Styrene River for giving me everything it's given me, and for you guys giving me everything you have. So anyway, I just thought this will probably just be an opening segment for tomorrow morning's show. So at this time, I'll hand you off to Morning Max in the future, who doesn't exist yet. Okay, enough of the esoteric stuff. You guys take care. Model on. Morning, Glue Troopers. I hope you enjoyed that little segment from about 1 a.m. This morning. And now what was his future Max, but is now your past Max still. So he's past Max 2 and I'm past Max 1. Or they go the other way around. Anyway, I have not been out to the Tarbis this morning. The rest of the taping and everything and the first shot will take place this morning, hopefully, and then I'll start probably working on the engines while that all hardens. Well, one thing I know about detailing this thing is, though, from most of the pictures I've seen, apparently white was the base color and the red was put over it. No shock there, because most of the weathering you see has a whitish tint, like the red paint's fading or flaking off. Of course, there's also those briny colors that come from the water, algae and things like that. So I would imagine, as best as I can tell, just looking at color pictures of ships and stuff, you would also have some greens and some other things sort of weathering the model, plus paint disappearing off, dope actually disappearing off certain areas. I don't know if they use dope or paint, and it makes a difference on the way it would weather off the real airplane, since the linen was doped. But if they use some other kind of paint, it would probably come off fairly easily, whereas dope would adhere better. So I'll just keep looking at the reference photos. Some of those airplanes look pretty rough, which, as I said, adds a multitude of sins. But don't let the bright colors fool you. They're not going to last. There is another subject I thought was interesting. Now, you guys all know that Chrysler made the turbine car, and of course companies, especially Johan, have made some pretty good kits of it, and it's actually a very popular modeling subject. But there's also, and I probably knew this and had forgotten, about 1961 I think it was, I'll put a link below to the video that I stumbled across. Ford made a turbine semi-tractor trailer, what they call Big Red, and I found this old promotional film. It's pretty cool. I need to look and see if anyone's ever made a kit model of it. But that, you could drive that right on the set of Star Wars and it would like it belong there. Come on. That's just cool, isn't it? Well, go watch the video. And typical 60 promotional film. But if no one makes one, some model company out there looking for something new to do, there you go. I saw that and I was thinking, man, if they never made a model of that begs to be a model. Somebody probably did. I'll snoop around, and I probably put a factoid over my head or something already to if I found one. One other thing that some folks were commenting on is the purchase of molds. Somebody made the comment that Meng actually got the molds from Wingnut Wings, and so apparently they've already put a couple of them back into production, at least one anyway. But I was talking about how companies will buy molds to keep them off the market, and I forget which one it was I mentioned, but somebody said that brand X was no competition for brand Y. Like when I think it might have been referenced to when Monogram had acquired the Aurora molds or something like that, or when somebody got the Lindbergh molds. But you have to remember that when people you have your hardcore fans, like the guy's always going to buy Monogram. My brother is a dyed-in-the-wool Monogram guy, and he wasn't interested in anybody else's stuff unless they just made something Monogram didn't make. But the thing is that a lot of people who go to buy models aren't so dedicated. They just go and see what's on the shelf. And even though brand X may have nowhere near the quality of brand Y, somebody may see the lower price and just decide, well, you know what, I'll buy brand X instead of brand Y. So even though a company may not make models as a direct competitor to you, they can still siphon off some of your sales just by people shopping deciding they want to get that instead of that. There's all kinds of shoppers. So it would make sense if you can get a good enough deal. If there's and of course this doesn't apply to kit models only, this is just what we're dealing with, but a strategic business decision that if so-and-so is going to sell their equipment or their molds, we don't want anybody else getting it just because we want to get rid of the competition. We'll just bag the stuff and put it in a corner somewhere, which is what happened in the case of most of the molds, Aurora's molds that Monogram had acquired, which is why companies like Atlantis are able to repop them today because they're still around, well maintained. But that was just addressing that one thing that folks had talked about, that even though Aurora is no competition for Tamiya, the company may just decide that, well, it doesn't matter which company, you get my point. A company may decide to buy another company's stuff just to clear the path for them. The question is, would it amount to enough sales to be worth doing? And of course that would depend on what you paid for the things versus whether or not you were able to use them, combined with how many sales they were pilfering off of you. And that's a very, very hard thing to know. Nigh impossible, I would think. That's why all of our information is so sought after by the internet. What do they say, whenever somebody offers you something free, you're not the customer, you're the product, because somebody's getting your information, because understanding these things is extremely important to businesses. And I guarantee you, every kit model company out there right now would love to know who is making, who's buying a kit X instead of kit Y. Obviously, there isn't a company out there that wouldn't love to know how much product they're losing directly to their competitor, because you may turn out it's not a good idea to buy those molds because we're not losing enough business to them to matter. But that brings up another problem. What if a new company gets those molds and really starts promoting them? Then they may bite into our future revenues. So again, just a strategic move. Well, love the morning coffee. That's all I got for today, guys. I will hopefully see you this evening with a largely painted Felixstowe fuselage. Take care and model on. Tastes fishy.